So back in the basement, I have some friends who are learning how to play guitar and are getting more into guitar, and they ask questions about, getting their sound. So I wanted to go over something that took me a long time to learn, and I figured I would show them and hopefully save people some time. For gear right now, 2013 Gibson SG Standard into the Marshall DSL 100H head, going through a 6x12 cabinet, Shure SM57 and a Sennheiser E609 on the Celestion Vintage 30s that are in that cab. Also a couple of pedals that will come in handy for this demonstration, the Zvex Box of Rock and the Ibanez TS9 Tube Screamer. I'm going to be using our song Hold It Against Me to demonstrate what I'm talking about today, but if you haven't heard it, if you're unfamiliar, you can find it on our Bandcamp streaming services. I'll link it in the description. So a lot of people approach guitar tone through adding gain stages. Essentially, as the dynamics of a song build, you want to put in a sort of new sound, or you want to have a little bit more volume or a slightly different tone as you sort of work your way through the song. I'm going to fast track the different parts of Hold It Against Me so that you can understand what I'm talking about as I step on different pedals to add a little bit more gain each time. This Marshall is set up fairly clean right now. It's worth noting before I start that this guitar is tuned down a half step to E flat standard. So I ended up kicking on 3 different stages of gain between 2 different pedals to get the sounds that I was going for each part. That's one good way to get the sound that you're going for, but that can be a little bit much for me. So I'm going to show you a different way to essentially do the same thing without needing to even have any pedals, depending on the sound that you're going for. I'm going to switch the Marshall over to a much crunchier sound, which is more so where I start a lot of the time. Bridge pickup volume on 10. So set this way, I'm essentially starting where the gain stages for the other method ended. So how can I recreate those sort of different lesser stages building up to this one? Well, one of the reasons I like Gibson style guitar so much is that there are 2 pickups, each with their own volume knob. So between the different pickups, I can actually recreate essentially the same thing. I like to set the neck pickup volume to like 1 so that I can get a lot softer, quieter, chimier sound. It's also still pretty dynamic. If I want to pick harder or softer, I can sort of control the dynamics that way. That lets me get the sound of the intro. With the neck pickup volume at 1 and the bridge pickup volume at 10, that gives me a pretty good in-between when I go to the middle position and I sort of sum the 2. Now, it's not exactly in between. It's actually closer to the crunchier side and a bit more than half volume. That's actually right where I want to be for that pre-chorus part that's a bit crunchier. So that takes us right into the chorus where I essentially want to be on full blast. So you're essentially gain staging in reverse. When you're taking away volume from the pickups, your mileage may vary depending on your amp and your setup, but for me, 2 pickups each with their own volume, I can pretty much get where I want to be, and it's all right on the guitar. This same idea can apply even if you go with the first method and you have a lot of pedals on. Don't get me wrong, I love pedals, they're a part of my setup, but there's times where stepping on a pedal during a song is not exactly conducive to everything else that's going on. It may just be my perception, but I feel like the versatility of the guitar's electronics and how you use them aren't as often talked about as what pedal can I use to achieve a certain sound. In short, sometimes you don't need to buy anything. You might just need to change your approach. This is how I recorded the song. This is how we play the song live, and it's worked for me for years. I hope that this can help somebody get at least a little bit closer to the sound that they are looking for. Now for you, this may beg the question, what do I do when I have to play a solo and I need even more? we'll talk about that another time.